Hey there, sports fans. Sonny Palermo here, and welcome to Bet Republic's Invitational Handicapping Contest. Round 2 tonight. Last week, Red, who's the lines maker from our sponsor, sportsbetting.com, went 4-2 and won his best bet, so he advances. And tonight, we've got two, the more popular and respected handicappers in the business. Mr. Ben Burns up against Mr. Ron Raymond. I'm going to read your picks for you, starting with Benny Burns. Ben likes, for his first pick, Pittsburgh at North Carolina State +1. The Pitt Panthers are 3-15 in their last 18 regular season road games versus non-conference teams from the BCS conferences. The Wolfpack, who have won their last 2 games by a combined score of 110-14, are 11-3 against the spread, the last 15 against teams with a winning record. They're better than they showed in their opening week loss to South Carolina, which we all saw as the ESPN Thursday night game. They stunk it up. Couldn't even score more than 15 between them, I think. Ben likes North Carolina State here, +1. For his second pick, we're going to the NFL. Going to look at the Giants and Tampa. Now, Ben says most people will favor the Giants here again, but I feel this will be a tough spot. The Giants are off a huge divisional win and are now playing the middle of 3 straight on the road. The Bucks, 14-9 against the spread the last 23 times they were home underdogs in the 3.5 to +7 range, have 2 road games on deck, and know they can't afford to fall to 0-3. I expect a highly motivated effort. I've got a system play that's pretty strong in the past 2 years and also says take Tampa. Ben Burns likes Tampa himself on this one. Next pick, we've got Atlanta at New England, staying in the pros. Wrong place, wrong time for the Falcons. Reasonable line in the Patriots, who have always excelled when coming off a straight-up loss. Last time the Pats were off a divisional loss, also against the Jets, they responded with a 48-28 win the following week. Falcons will be playing their first road game and are 0-6 against the spread the last 6 times they were coming off back-to-back wins. Pats 8-4 against the spread, 11-1 straight up. Last 12 times they were favored in the 3.5 to 9.5 range. Ben likes New England. Staying in the pros for Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. The Steelers have dominated the Bengals here at Cincinnati and easily won here last year. This one should be different. With Palmer back in the fold, Bengals are getting quality play at quarterback. They also got 141 rushing yards from former Bear Cedric Benson in last week's big win at Green Bay, and they'd be 2-0 if not for a tipped pass in the closing seconds of the game versus Denver. That's a good point. Steelers, off a hard-fought and deflating loss, are still without Palomalu. His replacement, Tyrone Carter, will play but has a bruised thigh. Some good points on the Cincinnati game. Cincinnati sacked Green Bay's quarterback 6 or 7 times last week. We saw Pittsburgh in the nationally televised game versus Tennessee. Had a lot of trouble protecting Ben, who likes to take a lot of time in the pocket. So it could be trouble. Ben likes Cincinnati this week. Then we've got Jacksonville at Houston. This looks like a good spot to go against the Texans. Despite getting the win last week, Houston still has some issues. They're not running the ball well, and they're currently last in the league in total defense, allowing 455 yards a game. Jags come in desperate at 0-2. They were 0-2 last season also, and they responded by traveling to Indy and delivering an outright win. They should bounce back with a much better effort and take this one down to the wire. Well, Jags always play tough against Indy, we know that, but Ben likes Jacksonville this week, and I got to agree with him again. This is the kind of game Houston always seems to lose and never get over that hump to the next level as a team. This is a typical game for them in that same spot. Now we've got his best bet. Ben's taking his best bet in the college ranks, California at Oregon. And this is his best bet. The Bears are a talented team, but this is a tough spot for them. They're off a game in the Eastern time zone last week and have their biggest game of the year, USC, on deck. And the Bears just lost senior Nyan Boateng, who led the team in receptions last year. The revenge-minded Ducks can score points with the best of them, and last week they showed that the defense is also capable. Take the Ducks. It's my best bet of the week. There's Ben's picks, and you can get a recap of these and a full analysis. I'm only reading you partial of what the guys have sent in. Over at betrepublic.com in the contest stadium, you can get the full analysis, updates on who's playing who's already advanced, and the full analysis on this week's games. Let's go to Mr. Ron Raymond, my old friend Ron Raymond here. Ron says First pick, Wisconsin versus Michigan State. Whiskey Badgers have been scouting the Spartans for 3 weeks now, and they're a -3-point home favorite this Saturday. When their Badgers are a 3-point or less home favorite, they're 7-3 straight up in their last 10 and against the spread. Since '96, take Wisconsin. Next, we're going to the pros. Atlanta, New England, but we're going with a total here. The Patriots seem to be in a rebuilding phase, but they'll never tell you that. The running game's missing, and that's hurting the Patriots right now. They've only rushed for an average of 78 yards per game. Without the run, you can't set up the pass. The Golden Boy comes back home. Matt Ryan played his college football at Boston College, so you know he'll be looking to put on a show. However, if there's one thing I don't like going against, it's a future Hall of Famer in a must-win situation after a bad loss to a divisional rival. Ron's taking this one over 44.5 points. Next up, Miami, San Diego. This game for the Dolphins resembles a bit of the Week 1 versus the Falcons. The Dolphins are really giving some defensive coordinators some headaches and maybe a lack of sleep because they find a way to slow down the Wildcat formation. If Miami is basing their offense on the Wildcat, what does that tell us how they feel about their quarterback position? Looks like LT might be a game-time decision, but I see this as a battle of the running game, edge to the Fins. Ron's taking the under in this one, under 44, Miami, San Diego. Now we're going to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, which we also had was one of Ben's picks. Let's see who Ron likes. Here's one that'll be a teller. Ron's on the other side. Ben already gave us this game and an analysis for Cincinnati. Ron says, here's another letdown situation for the inconsistent Bengals. They went into a tough venue last week at Lambeau Field and snuck out with a win and now must face a very tough division rival in the Steelers. Pittsburgh's one of the best coached football teams I've seen in years, and with Big Ben losing last week, my money's on them this week. I'm taking Pittsburgh. So Ron's laying the 4 where Ben took the 4. I don't know, Pittsburgh's going to have to find a running game if they're going to compete with anyone this year because they haven't been running the ball for squat this season. Pick number 5, Detroit, plus 6.5 at Washington, and Ron says the Lions have nothing to lose anymore. They're rebuilding with Matt Stafford, and the expectation level from the fans has just improved from week to week. When you're 0-16, the fans can only have one way to go, like your team. You can only look up. Washington's 1-4 straight up on the road since Week 9 of the 2008 season, and Detroit has enough weapons on offense to keep this close and win this game. Ron says take Detroit plus a 6.5. Well, as far as Detroit having enough weapons to play with Washington, doesn't really take very many weapons. Washington's only had 1 touchdown in 2 games, 1 offensive score, 2 games. I like Jim Zorn, but man, the guy used to play quarterback. I think he used to play defense the way he's coaching these guys. Ron's best bet, and he's going to the Green Bay game. We've got Green Bay and St. Louis. St. Louis Rams have scored 1 touchdown in 2 games. So why on earth am I making the over my top play? My question exactly, Mr. Ron. Tell us why. The Rams are on the verge of selling out this game, so the energy level will be high on Sunday. Look for both teams to feed off that energy in what should be a high-tempo football game. The over is 11-2-1 for the Packers in dome games of the last 5, and the Rams have seen the over go to a quick 3-0 in their first 3 home games last season. Over 41 is my top play this week. Ron's best bet, St. Louis, Green Bay, over 41. Those are the picks for the 2 guys this week. Remember, over at BetRepublic.com, you can get the full analysis from both handicappers. Read their entire write-ups in the contest section at BetRepublic.com. That's it for our show this week. See you next week.